Okay, guys. Before TNA comes on tonight, I thought I'd go ahead and do a quick movie review of the movie Immortals. I have a lot of requests I know I've been given, and I want to get to those movies quickly, so I'm trying to get a lot of movie reviews done this week. I was going to do Immortals, The Sitter, Undead, which was a request, Pathfinder, which was a request, and it's taken me a while to get to some of these just because I've had so many of them to do, and I wanted to do them just every Tuesday, some Sundays, maybe Friday. So this is a way for me to get more of the movies done so people aren't waiting so long for me to get to their movie request. So I thought I would go ahead and do Immortals today, then TNA, and then tomorrow SmackDown, another movie, another one Saturday, and then Ring of Honor, and then Sunday I'll probably do two more. So I'm going to be watching a shitload of movies this week, but I think I can get all this stuff done. So if you have sent a request, I will try to get to it this week, and it should be up this weekend. So, on to Immortals. One thing about this movie that was funny to me was on YouTube you can rent movies. Now, I actually got this movie from Redbox, but I do remember a few weeks ago when it was on YouTube to rent for like $4 or something ridiculous. In the description, it actually says starring Hulk Hogan, Jeff Jarrett, like the TNA faction Immortal, but it was the movie Immortals. So I don't know what the hell happened there, but they got the two things confused. So I just thought that was funny and kind of wrestling related. But anyways, this movie is supposed to be kind of like 300. They hype it up as from the producers of 300 and all this other type of stuff. This really wasn't like 300. If you're going into this expecting a lot of action like 300, you're not going to get it. I thought the movie was okay. Some parts are really boring. I felt like it dragged on for some stuff that wasn't necessary, but it did have some decent action when you got the action. But I felt like there wasn't enough fight scenes, there wasn't enough just the good violence you come to expect from a movie like 300. This one just didn't really have all that. Except for the very end and maybe a few parts in the middle, there just really wasn't very much fighting. So I felt like it kind of dragged on a little bit, and I was kind of disappointed. I thought it was okay, but it wasn't nearly as good as it could have been, and that's my view on this movie. If you want like a decent, okay action movie to kill an afternoon or something, you can't go wrong getting it for $1 at a Redbox. But if you're looking for something like 300, you're not going to find that here, except maybe graphically. But so on to the movie. It starts off and you have this guy, Theseus, I believe his name is. And he's the main character. He's like this peasant kid, and his best friend's this old man. His mom is kind of treated like a I don't want to say whore, but that's what they call her in the movie. They call her a whore because she doesn't have a husband and she was like raped, and that's how she got Theseus. And this movie is pretty dark. It does have a lot of dark stuff in it. But it's Theseus and his mother who he wants to protect, and he is really strong because he's trained by this old man. And we find out later that the old man is actually one of the gods, Zeus. So this Mickey Rourke is this villain, and he wears these crazy masks. He wants to find this magical bow that the gods used during their war. Apparently there was a big war and the gods all fought each other, and the gods that were, I guess they can't kill them, but the ones that were defeated became the Titans, who were like locked in a box. And the gods that survived became like Zeus, Poseidon, those guys. And whoever has this bow, which is the most powerful weapon in the gods' arsenal, can set free the Titans. Mickey Rourke is a villain who hates the gods because they killed his family or something, and he wants to find this bow and unleash the Titans and rule the world. He's really dark, he's really twisted and sick. He tortures people for fun. He's just a horrible character. It was a great role. Mickey Rourke did it perfect. I mean, I thought Mickey Rourke was the best guy in this movie. I really like him anyways. If you haven't seen the movie The Wrestler, you really need to check that out because it's an awesome movie. And I'm just a Mickey Rourke fan. Sin City, all that stuff. The one thing that's goofy though is he does wear these masks, and he wears this one mask when he goes to war that he looks like a giant bunny rabbit. It's just like this black mask with like spikes and then these two big ears. I thought that was kind of ridiculous. But he's going to invade Theseus's village. He's trying to find this oracle who can predict where the bow is. So they invade, and Theseus sees his mother get killed by Mickey Rourke. And he escapes the village. He finds the oracle. She senses that he's going to be the one to save the people. So they kind of go on this quest. Meanwhile, Mickey Rourke is destroying everything, also looking for the bow. And the oracle takes Theseus to the bow, and he actually gets it in his hand. But then one of Mickey Rourke's henchmen come, which is supposed to be a minotaur, but it was just like a guy in a mask. Very disappointing. I thought there would be like a monster or something in this movie, something cool, but we just get a guy with a big stick, and I was disappointed by that. Theseus kills him. He gets the bow. He saves his friends. He's traveling with like a thief and the oracle and some other monk who cut his tongue out. So they're traveling, and they eventually head back. And meanwhile, we see the gods. And Zeus tells the gods that even though Theseus doesn't know the old man he was friends with was Zeus, but Zeus has always looked out for Theseus because he likes the guy. He says he's not afraid of anything. But up in the sky, he tells the other gods they cannot interfere, they cannot help Theseus or anyone else, because if they get involved in any way, they will die. He'll kill them. So Theseus goes back to his old village, or whatever was left of it, and they see this giant bull where they have the other girls who are friends of the oracle trapped inside. It's like this old medieval torture device where they would put people inside a giant steel bull, and then they would light a fire underneath it and basically just slowly burn the people to death. Very brutal. And they find these girls and they try to rescue them, but it's a trap. Mickey Rourke had set for them to get the bow, and they're outnumbered. They have no chance of survival, and one of the gods comes down, and he basically kills all the guys. Let me see if I can explain this. It's like a slow motion thing, but the god is moving at normal speed, but he's so quick, everything is in slow motion except for him. So he's just going through crushing people in the head. It's pretty gory. And then Zeus shows up, and he uses this like flame whip thing and kills the other god because he told him not to interfere. Which is funny because at one point they try to escape on a ship, and Poseidon jumps down and causes the sea to lift up, washing away their enemies, but nothing happened to him for doing that. But this guy comes and saves Theseus' life, and he gets killed for it. But they eventually make it back to his people, and the people aren't really sure what's going on. They're trying to make peace with Mickey Rourke, but Theseus tells them, you need to prepare for war, don't worry about peace. He's not really wanting peace, he just wants to kill you all, which is true. Of course they don't listen. But then he gets the respect of the people. They start to listen to Theseus. They start to prepare for war. Mickey Rourke has the bow now because one of the henchmen stole it, like a dog or something, when the god came to fight. So he uses the bow, and he instantly just breaks into their castle. Theseus and his men are trying to fight back, and they can't. They're overwhelmed by the numbers, and Mickey Rourke makes it all the way to the cage of the Titans. He uses the bow, he unleashes the Titans, and then all the gods come. This was pretty badass. Zeus says, Theseus, take your friends and get out of here. This is not your war anymore. And we get the gods fighting the Titans. And the Titans are these weird, they look like normal people, but their skin is gray, and they're really fast, and they're kind of like, they just attack in sheer numbers. They're like a pack of hyenas. and they eventually overwhelm the gods and kill all of them except for Zeus, who uses his power to like cave in the place the Titans were held. Theseus fights Mickey Rourke. He eventually kills him, and then we see the castle crumbling over Theseus, but Zeus transports him up to the sky along with another god who was barely alive. So we have Zeus, Athena, and Theseus, and then we see that everything's fine. Mickey Rourke's dead. The villagers are saved, and then we see in the future that Theseus had a son with the oracle, and the old man, Zeus, in his human form, is back, and he's telling the kid the story about his dad, and he says, your father is one of the gods now, and he's up there fighting for all of you. And the kid just walks away, and he's like, his mom says, who was that? And he says, oh, just some old guy. And then the last thing we see in the movie before the credits is Theseus as a god fighting the Titans in the sky with like a bunch of other gods. I don't know who these people were or where they came from, and all these Titans in the sky. So kind of like maybe there would be a sequel or something. I don't know, but I thought it had some interesting stuff. But like I said, I thought the movie was a little disappointing. There wasn't enough action, not nearly enough action. But there was a few cool scenes. So if you want to watch like a simple action movie or something like that, and you can get it for cheap, I think it's worth that. But I wouldn't like go out of your way to see it, because it's really not like 300, which they market it as. So that's my review of the Immortals, and I hope you guys liked the video. I will be back as soon as possible to do some of the other movies and get some of the requests done this week, so I hope you can check that out too. And now I'm going to watch TNA Impact. So that's it. Thanks for watching.